Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hopefully this will be one of 4 videos on the Deadman seasonal. I'm going to try to put up a video every week, trying to just pretty much paraphrase, summarize what we do throughout the month. No different than what I've been doing, but I just try and keep up with Deadman instead of keeping up with my old school RuneScape account, which we left at bursting. It still has the gear for bursting and is sitting at the GE, where it will stay until after we finish doing Deadman. And then I plan to burst and chin on neck reels to 99. But in the meanwhile, I plan to get as high as I can in the rankings on Deadman. So I thought I had a plan starting out. I knew I wanted to get 43 prayer. I believe that I'd known some bones to spawn in the wilderness, so I felt like I could bury them over and over until I had 43 prayer, because I did that a whole long time ago once to get 43 prayer on an account. So I thought I would do that. I knew it would be a grind, but I thought with increased XP it wouldn't be so much. So let's see how that plan actually ends up unfolding for me. Alright, so I got 30 minutes of protection. I'm gonna go try to train my prayer right here in the wilderness. I already seen a PKer that would have killed me if they weren't. Or if they were able to attack me. I don't know how much XP 43 prayer takes off the top of my head, but this is where I plan to do it. Maybe not. Alright, so the reason I died there is because 10 years ago those monks didn't used to be there, so I had no idea that I was going to get killed as soon as I got to the burnt spawns. So I had no backup plan, I had no idea what to be doing in the beginning. I wasn't even sure that I got a 30-minute protection in the beginning until, after I'd already started playing. I feel like all that protection thing did was put a huge pressure on me, like that I might be wasting my time, that I need to hurry up and get XPs, that I need to do something with my account, that basically that I'm just under pressure to produce. I wanted to go to the cows mainly because I knew they drop a lot of bones, and I wanted to bury their bones to get my prayer up to get overheads. So I thought maybe the chickens would be faster for getting bones, but the problem is on mobile that you can't see the bones unless you right click, which is hold down click for mobile, so it's a real pain in the ass. But I used the bronze spear that I had found on the ground walking to the cows to train my combat, and it was actually pretty quick combat XP, and I didn't mind it being shared because my purpose was to really get my combat level as high as I could, because the higher my combat level is, the less PKers I have to worry about while I'm trying to train my skills. And I'm not a great PKer. You guys can tell how good of a PKer I am by my last video. That fight in Bounty Hunter was the last PvP I had done before coming to Deadman. So far in Deadman, I think we've progressed a little, and I'm hoping that this video can give us some sort of insight into our progression, since it's a whole week-long amount of videos. But I did find the starter kit. Every day in Deadman, you can talk to the tutors in Lumbridge, and they'll give you a starter kit. I got my starter kit, and I wanted to use it to train my magic. I just wasn't sure exactly where to go or what to do. The chickens, they weren't hard to kill, the chickens. It's just that there's other players killing the chickens, so it's kind of packed. So I knew I just wanted to move on and do something else. I have a friend who plays Deadman, and he was curious if I was, going to play the season, if I was excited, how long of it I wanted to play. He was also curious if I'd seen that tournament, which I did watch the whole entire tournament. I've noticed that Deadman is very more chat friendly than old school RuneScape, meaning people will message you, people ask what you're doing, people are curious, people people want to talk to each other when they play Deadman. It reminds me more of like what I expected RuneScape to be like from back in the day with friends and stuff. Whereas old school RuneScape, I felt like, you're kind of just doing a job, which is working on your account, and it never ends. Like your account is always room for more, but it's probably because it's such an old game. I'm checking the map because I had no idea where to go, but I did have an idea that right down there below Falador in that dungeon, I thought maybe that I could kill ice giants, and they drop big bones. So I thought if there was just any way that I could get there, maybe there'd be a good chance that I could kill ice giants for big bones. I wasn't sure if there would be safe spots or not, because I hadn't been there either in like a long time, so really I'm just a noob with no idea what to do. I put a picture there of that because I found that spot to train my combats where I'm the only one with those chickens, so I was able to get a decent start there. Once the protection spells were off, or well, the free protection, I wandered to Varric, and I decided to go down into the sewers mainly because I was on a quest to find the hill giants, the ones that are under Edgeville, and I didn't have a brass key, and I couldn't remember how the hell you get to them without a brass key, so I started in the Varric sewers, and I thought maybe that was how you got there, and then I wasn't 100% sure, and even if it wasn't how you got there, I felt like I'd find moss giants, and if we found moss giants, that we could bury their bones too. So, and then when I got in here, I seen that I could safe spot these rats, so I was like, well, I might as well just safe spot these rats for right now until I think of something else to do. Their meat wasn't worth anything, but I loved the idea that magic was just going up so fast. I've never had skills level up so fast, so I really just was enjoying every 30 seconds or so seeing another magic level. At this point, I wasn't really sure that you have to build an account a certain way, so in my mind, I'm training magic just because I know I need teleports, and the fact that it was just so easy and that the staff had 500 charges. I didn't know where these tunnels actually go. I didn't know what to expect. Like, I seen that guy killing the skeletons and stuff and the ghosts. So I wanted to kill him too, but I didn't want to be anywhere where another player was. So I ended up going up a ladder and finding this bear. And I spent a really long time fighting this bear, guys. Probably like an hour. But I didn't know at the time that you get more XP for being in unguarded areas than you do for guarded areas. I just knew that I was getting insane amounts of XP. So I thought that I could safe spot this bear and just get my mage up that way. It's hard at first for me to safe spot the bear because I'm not really used to killing the bear here in this spot. I didn't know exactly where the right spots were, but eventually we progress and find, that we can safe spot the bear without getting beat up every time trying to pin him down. Eventually, during the downtime, like right now, whenever you kill the bear and you gotta like pick up his drops and stuff, during that downtime, I get the idea that why don't I start using that tree that's in there? Like, I know that his meats they're worth a lot, but that's only according to the GE thing, which at this time in the game, I'm still taking the GE's word that that's what things are worth. Where in Deadman, guys, the GE is almost non-existent. I feel like you're playing an Iron Man because there's just not enough supply and demand, or there's not enough supply to meet the demands, should I say. So a lot of times there's no items in the GE. But what we end up doing is we start chopping down that tree in between kills, lighting a fire, and cooking his meat, and burying his bones. So when you think about it, we're getting combat XP from killing him, we're getting woodcutting XP from chopping the tree down, we're getting fire making XP from making the fire, we're getting cooking XP from cooking his food, and we're getting prayer XP from burying his bones. So I assumed there was probably nobody else in the game who was able to train that many skills at one time this early, so I just felt like I better stay here and keep doing it, at least until it got slow, and that would give me all the edge that I needed on other players in the early game. That's what I was hoping, that's what I thought, and I still was unaware that it was, safe where I'm at, like, meaning the whole time I'm sitting here safe and no one can hurt me, I'm scared and thinking that somebody might be able to come shoot me through the fence or come up the ladder and attack me. I just really wasn't paying a whole lot of close attention to the right details in the beginning when I started out. But that's because I was just mainly like scared I was doing something wrong or scared I wasn't going to do something right because I had no idea how to play. I've only watched a tiny bit of content on Deadman. Usually I'm watching the events or the streams or something, and they don't really put like noob details in there for players like myself who haven't done multiple seasons. This is my first season. The devs say they plan to change the season up, so I don't know what the next season will be like, if there will be one, or if Deadman is going to continue to be. But anyway, we died when we tried to go to the ice giants.
Alright guys, so I completely suck at this game. I have no plan. What I plan to do is chop another inventory of logs, sell it, and get me an air staff. I have no idea how to start this game. I've been player killed twice, once by a group, once by an individual, and I've died twice. The best start I had was in the beginning where I took my mage stuff and I went and I killed some, ice warriors and hobgoblins and stuff, but that is not working out after I got killed because I lost all my runes and stuff. I wasn't prepared. So hopefully this plan works out. Alright, so I have my air staff and I bought some fish. I'm gonna get some more logs to get some runes and some fish. And then I think I'm gonna go try to kill moss giants on Kermagia Island. So hopefully all goes well with that. If it doesn't, we'll escape teleport back to Varric. That's the plan.
So now that we've been dying a bunch of times, I didn't really have a rebuild method at all, so I started cutting wood. That's how we got 50 wood cutting, was because it's just so easy when you start over to chop some wood right next to a safe spot, sell it to the GE, and get some money. I decided that I wanted to go to Kermagia Island so that I could get my prayer up by burying the moss giant big bones. I do see a PvPer when I go past to get right here, but I thought I brought a telly so that way if a PvPer came I could just hurry up and telly out. But this is the place where I learned the hard way that you cannot telly until 5 seconds after combat. A red skulled PKer comes, but I don't catch it on camera, and he tries to kill me, but the skeleton ends up attacking him, and the skeleton attacking him gives me enough time so that I can actually cast my teleport and get out of there, and I go back to Varric, and that's when I realized that, okay, well I guess you can't teleport until a few seconds after combat, which completely changes up my game plan on how to survive. And my bond was over, so I had to go and cash in and get another bond, and then I went back to chopping yews, and I found a nice spot right next to the Lumbridge where they're safe. So I was chopping there, but I thought they might be slow, so I wanted to go find some place where there might be more trees to chop, and I thought Edgeville would have that, but at this time I didn't know how unsafe Edgeville actually is.
I almost died on Kermagia Island. I didn't know you gotta wait 5 seconds to telly, so I'm back to chopping wood. Saving up some coins, gonna get a defense amulet before I go out to try and level my skills, my combat.
So this is where I cut trees in Edgeville, and what I learned to do was keep that door shut right next to you. That way no PKer can actually come and get you without having to open the door first, or you'd have to log in from another world. So I felt like that made us a lot safer to level our woodcutting that way. But it turns out that it's actually even safer to just chop the tree behind Lumbridge that I showed you originally and just chop worlds if it, gets chopped down. I trained as much as I could on guards, mainly just because I kept dying when I tried to train anywhere else. I wanted to slay more than anything, but I just didn't know how. I didn't even know how to begin slaying, so I thought that if I could get my combat up really high to like 85, then I'd be able to start my slayer with Neve, since she's safe, and I'd be able to get tasks without actually risking death like I would in Edgeville, going to the Wilderness Slayer Master or going to the Slayer Master underneath Edgeville. I was slowly starting to realize at this point in the account that I need to get like an inventory for sharks or brews, but I just had no way to make money. I didn't know what to do. At this point in the game, the only thing that I'm doing to make money is chopping logs and selling them. We were up to blue D hide. I was constantly trying to progress my ability to defend myself while I chop trees, and I was definitely hugging a town. So if you guys want to call me a town hugger, I would say that definitely suits what I've been up to on Deadman. I'm all about trying to survive and not kill people.
I need to go get my Ava's accumulator. Died last time. I think getting to 76 woodcutting was the dumbest shit ever, but it is what it is. Because I just went and bought a magic short bow, and it was only like 1500. So I'm thinking some clan or something used alts that already got them, and already flooded the GE. Just because it's not safe. I'm in survival. I'm a survival mode player, more so than able to kill anybody yet. I'm gonna get this teleport book while I'm over here. I think I'm gonna be training my range and defense today. I wish my inventory wasn't so damn tight, but at the same time, alright, so that'll give me 4 charges. Let's go ahead and get 5. $150 is definitely cheaper than a law rune if that's how it works. I should have got this damn thing so much earlier at the beginning when I started playing and everybody else was getting them. Because the last time I went there were PKers there. So I didn't die during any lag there. Hopefully this place will just be vacant. Of course not. Let's go to a different world. They might know somebody. So the reason why I like the American worlds more is because I feel like the American kids have money and like to go pick on the foreigners, so they're more likely to be more PKers, I think, in those non-American worlds. Someone's in this one too. Alright, good, they tell it out. First time ever using this, so I hope it... Oh, fuck. Don't take me somewhere stupid like that. Yes! I feel like I just got a fire cape. But it was an Ava's. I gotta go put the other one in my box so that I never have to do that again. Sucks like fucking ass kicks. It won't let you put one in the safe deposit box. It says you can't put untradables in there. Right, but now we gotta go work on our prayers somehow. I got no way to make money, no way to get prayer. Except chop you logs. So I'm gonna go train the shit out of this fucking stack.
Aside from guards, I love to train my combat right here on these wizards. They're not far from a safe spot either. I bought a Borthope Games necklace and I teleported to Borthope and right into some guy's 4DD specs. Sorry I didn't have my camera on in the beginning because I was panic eating and trying to run the Falador, but I did turn it on in the end. We got away, but I'd like to say that I can't stand any of those faggots that try to kill you on day 2 with DDs. I just think that they're insane piece of shit.
Oh man, I missed half of that. But I tellied in the Bortho, and as soon as I did, a guy with a DDs jumped right on me. Hit me for like 40 damage off the rip. Poisoned me and shit. I ate all my sharks and the brew, but made it all the way back to Falador. Like a boss.
Eventually, the guards in Varric just aren't cutting it, so I decide to start killing the guards in Falador. It is multi, you don't really see anybody there, but I just assumed I'd be able to run in behind the door if things got out of hand. The oaks weren't cutting it anymore, so I definitely thought now that my combat was getting higher that I could go try to chop something better than oak. I didn't want to go to Drainer and chop willows because I just felt like there was nowhere safe nearby. This bank is actually safe, so I felt like there's a good chance that maybe I could make it in there. There's also a good chance I could have got PK because I didn't know what I was doing. Somebody did try to log in underneath of me, but they had their smite, I guess, set on their quick prayers. So when they turned on their quick prayers, I seen their smite, and I knew somebody was under me, and I was able to move without getting killed. So, I mean, that was cool, but all I'm doing here is chopping wood and fletching it and then throwing it on the ground. Like, I'm not here for the money, I'm here for the fletching XP. And the reason why I'm here is because once I got to U-logs and I could chop U-logs, sure, I was making money, but then I realized that people could just pay me whatever they wanted for my U-logs because there wasn't very many people chopping U-logs. So my U-logs would never sell except for like half price. So I told myself if I could just get my fletching level high enough, I could fletch my own U-logs, and then I wouldn't need people from the GE. So I made sure that I got 55 magic so I'd also be able to high alchemy my own bows once that I made them. I just wasn't sure if it would be profitable and how many bows I would need to make to get a decent profit to get me started. But once again, like, my only plan was just to do all of this until I could afford to slay. The only reason why I'm not slaying now is because I didn't know where to go to a Slayer Master without risking death all the time. And if I got my tasks, I wouldn't know exactly where to go and how to kill them all. I don't even have... Sorry, my audio keeps cutting out, and this is a long video. I think we're getting right around where day 2 started. I'm not exactly sure because it's all 1 week, but I know that this is just maples and willows all the way to, I believe, 65 fletching so that we could do the U longbows. That's the first part where you make money in fletching.
Alright guys, so I'm still on my day 2 caps. I saved room just for high alchemy. Hopefully get my fletching level high enough to make longbows and alchium. Then I'm going to work on my slayer. Oh, he went after this little guy. Got him. I'm keeping my eye on him, but I'm not running like a bitch until he tries to get me. He went up the rooftop.
So we fletched until we got to 80. So actually, I think we just continued to fletch, guys. That is the way we made money. I knew that if we got to magic logs that we could make a lot of money. So that was the idea, was to fletch all the way to mage longbows and be able to alky the longbows for our money to be able to fund us, to be able to get our account ready for Slayer. And I still hadn't completed my quest to get my overhead protection prayers. It was taking me way longer, but this is what you get when you don't have a plan and you come to Deadman and then you die a few times. You've really just kind of got to keep picking your head up and playing. And we did that pretty much, you know, we dove into the woods and chopped trees, and that's what kept us afloat. This is way fast XP, so that's why I chose to stay here at the Willows and Maples for XP all the way to Magic Longbows. Since getting to Magic Longbows, I hadn't had to touch a willow or a maple tree, or even a yew tree for that much, so the sooner that you do this, the easier. I might even do it if I play in the tournament. If we qualify, I might actually fletch and commit to it, meaning I wasn't even committed to fletching or woodcutting. I was just doing it out of necessity because I needed money. So if I actually like strive to, maybe I could be the first or second person to get 99 fletching or 95, whichever, can utilize, making you money early in a Deadman content. But being that we had a money source in our pocket now that we could fletch, I felt like there was nothing standing in our way except the potential to die. So I definitely kept hugging the town. We killed all the way to level 85 combat on guards and town wizards, meaning we didn't really kill anything else to get to 85 combat other than the things that were right next to the safe zones. I did lose my first set of Dragonhide training outside of Falador. A clan attacked me, and when I went in, I got away, but then my auto retaliate took me back. So I've lost all of that stuff, but I finally had got my prayer. This is where I chose to train my prayer to 43, was right outside this bank. But since then, I've discovered a way better training spot, which is in the basement of the same bank. Then you don't have to worry about the people like trying to rush you and trying to hit people inside the bank. So the basement underneath this bank has become my new training grounds for when I fletch, for when I do my prayer, for when I do anything that is not combat related and I need the XP boost from being in an unprotected area. I recommend to anybody you use the West Varick Bank and go in the basement. Yeah, this is the first D-hide set right here. This is what I was talking about a second ago. So I bought my first full D-hide, black D-hide. I bought a rune skimmy. I did get a dragon skimmy, but I don't have it on camera. And I ended up losing it, guys. I lost it all, the training outside Falador in the multi-combat. Like I just said, the clan come and attack me, and I ran back in. I was safe, and then my auto-retaliate got me to go back. So we had to restart. We had nothing, and that's when you get Jews like this guy that like to see that you have nothing on, and he, I guess, assumes I'm just a walking skimmy, and decides to attack me. And what better way than to rub in that you got overheads and I don't, than to protect against me. So I didn't really want to fight this guy. I never wanted to fight him. I just wanted to kill the wizards and get XP. He wanted to fight me. He wanted to bother me. So I felt like I'd just whack on him until I seen an opportunity to run away. And I did. So we ran away. Didn't have any more prayer. Didn't want to continue to fight the fight. He had prayer pots. We had not got that far into the game yet, meaning this is like day 3, I want to say, and we haven't discovered a full inventory of prayer pots, meaning I just have, lobsters and stuff. Thieving was sort of like something that I had under my sleeve that I was hoping was going to work, but it hasn't yet. That doesn't mean it might not. But on mobile, if you turn the attack NPC option to hidden, you can just single-click pickpocket guards. So I hurried up and traded my thieving to 40 so that I'd be able to do guards pickpocket. And I was hoping that eventually at some level you will no longer fail. I'm at like 70 and you still fail, so hopefully that happens later on. Somebody told me 95 you stop failing arty knights. That's why I presumed maybe there's a level where you stop failing regular guards. The fletching, I'm not sure. I think we're actually all the way up to like 93 or 94 now in this season, but it's worth note that it was never my intentions to get a super high fletching level. That just kind of came out of, the necessity of needing to rebuild all the time, and then the fact that every time I made a magic longbow, I made money, so I just kept making as many magic longbows as I could in between daily caps, because in order to high alchemy my bows, I get magic XP, which means I have to wait till after I cap, so that way I can alchemy my bows. Otherwise, I would be wasting all of my cap on magic levels, and then my account would be a lot weaker to take on PKers that were trying to kill me. I had to go and get more Avas, because I didn't know that I could put them in my box. I ended up losing them. Now I have more Avas. That's underway. I don't have to worry about the Avas accumulator. Ava was one of the first things that I really accomplished, and then unlocking the Slayer Master was pretty much the only other thing that I accomplished. I haven't really been proud of myself on Deadman. I'd like to consider myself just a noob who's pretty much hugged safe zones as much as possible, and now I'm starting to branch out into Slayer. This is my first Slayer task, and I was really scared when I got Greater Demons, just because, not that I don't want to fight Greater Demons, just that I didn't know where to fight Greater Demons. So I searched the internet, and the best ones that I found were in some cave on basically the Karend Island, I guess Zaya or whatever it's called. I just didn't know how to get there, and then my stupid ass takes that boat, and it throws me right in Malti. I didn't know what to do, so I just decided, I better just keep moving. If I see somebody, I'm just going to try to run in the opposite direction for as long as I can, so I wanted to save my run, and that way, if like a PKer came, I had a full run to get away. Where was I going to go to? I was going to go to the greater demons, meaning if a PKer came, I was just going to try faster to get to the greater demons, mainly because I knew that the greater demons are aggressive, so that way if I can get one of them to attack a PKer, then I'd be able to telly away. But just because I know that in theory doesn't mean I'm able to execute it in practice yet. So I'm still very nervous at the greater demons when I finally do get there. But one cool thing about, by the way, also now, if I still get greater demons, which I've gotten the task more times than just this once, I come down from the games necklace teleport, and then I only have to run through multi when I go right through the castle where like the main Karen teleport is, and I just hop worlds to make sure there's no white dots and then run through that little gap. But what I loved about this is, even though I was late to get slaying, meaning I already had friends that had been slaying for like 2 days, and I'm just now getting to slay because I really wanted to have a safe Slayer Master, I end up getting a Slayer level pretty much every time I kill a monster, so it was incredibly, rewarding to be able to jump from, I think we went from like 1 to 52 Slayer in just the first task. I do prayer flick the whole entire task, but it's worth noting that I am not, a professional prayer flicker, so I do still lose prayer, just not as much as I would if I left my prayer on, meaning like, let's say every 3 seconds I lose 1 prayer point. So over the course of, a half hour to an hour, which I think I spent an hour and a half on this task, I drank like a prayer pot or two, maybe all of them, but the idea is that I was trying to flick, I was trying to save prayer, I wasn't trying to consume it all. Later on, I realized, that I'm not so much worried about my melee as much as I'm worried about my defensive survivability, which means if I'm always running away, it doesn't really do how much good I can hit you with a sword, but it will do a lot of good on how well I can shoot you when I'm entangled. So I've decided to, switch my game plans and become a ranger tank, I guess is what the name is for it. But mainly it just means I'm going to rely on leveling my defense and leveling my range. I think currently after, as is right now, it's Saturday, I am rank 5 in defense, and I wasn't expecting any of that, just like at one time I wasn't expecting to be ranked 4 in fletching, but I guess when you commit to doing certain things because you need to, you don't realize how much it actually affects your account overall. So if you just put the time in, guys, your account grows crazily on Deadman. The amount of XP is nuts. It's going to be sad when I have to leave Deadman and I don't get to take my account with me or whatever. But I'd have to say I've had more fun playing this Deadman than I've had playing any other part of RuneScape since I've been back to playing RuneScape on my phone, which we only play on our phone. So a lot of people have given me shit, that you can't play Deadman on your phone, yada, yada, yada. Well, I mean, I wish they would make that PvP spec orb work, meaning the orb works in PvM, but it doesn't work in PvP, and it really needs to because it allows you to be able to switch a weapon and then click that button to spec with the second weapon, whereas you don't have F keys, so you're at a huge disadvantage on mobile. All I can do is sit back and wait and hope that that's what comes through. When I was killing these guys, I knew I needed a looting bag, but I had no idea where to begin to even get like bounty hunter points to start buying things. I at this point in the game was under the belief that you could only get emblems from the wilderness. Later on, I do get an emblem in the game, so we crack that myth and find out that you don't have to just kill monsters in the wilderness to get an emblem. And then on top of the first task, that task was awesome. I got cow fights, and I didn't have enough points to skip, and I wasn't going to go through Bortho, mainly just because I had PTSD from getting DD jumped the last time I tried to use a games necklace telly there. So I decided to just go man it out and go do the cow fights task. I felt like right here in this back corner with the little ones was way less likely to have a person come check it out or a clan come check it out, because they're most likely going to go into, like, I think which is the northeastern chamber, whereas most people can or do their task there. So I felt like that's where they would go check, and then I felt like if I just stayed along the back wall, there'd be like no chance that somebody just coming in, walking around would see me. And it worked. I got the whole task done, but I'd be lying if I didn't say you feel like a woman walking alone in a dark alley when you're sitting in multi-combat wearing a dragon skimmy and d-hide, and you're pretty much just... You're pretty much just waiting for a clan to come strip you of your valuables. The shield that I'm using is a magic shield. I fletched them myself. There weren't any in the GE. I was able to actually sell one for like 50k when I first made it. But I ended up hooking up a guy with like 30 some shields, so I think he was able to take over the GE shield market before I ever did, because I didn't even think about shields until some guy private messaged me and was like, hey, can you make shields for me if I pay you? And I think he gave me like a DDs for making him shields, and then I ended up finding out that the shields sell for like 50k. So I think I pretty much sold away all my profits, but that's what you get when you weren't expecting or planning. You know, you were only a master Fletcher by necessity, not over, you know, desire. So I didn't really know how to make a bunch of money with my high level skills. I'm assuming that in the next tournament I'll be way different. The shield actually gives you decent magic defense. It doesn't give you much else. I need to get a defender. I'm just scared. I'm scared of trying to get a defender and getting killed while I'm there. I don't have any methods, or I don't know where I'm supposed to go to free. Basically, like I was just saying earlier, I have huge PTSD with the whole Barthorpe area, just because I had to get PK'd, run all the way, you know, or attempted PK and then run all the way to Fally. Like, Fally's too far. There had to be somewhere else that was safer that I could have ran. So if you guys know more about Deadman and you're watching me play and you know that I'm a noob and you can see that I'm a noob, feel free to leave comments, guys. Help me out. Subscribe. Watch me progress, and then, you know, hook me up with information to help me out. Like, some people in the game, you know, made fun of me for fletching outside of a bank because I was risking, and then told me that I could, you know, fletch in the basement. And at first I thought it was, you know, a setup. I was going to walk down a basement and find multi-combat and people waiting on me. But then so I hopped world and so I went and checked the basement out, and they weren't lying. It's an awesome place. So I'm like, that's the example that I'm getting over, is information is key. If people share information with you, you can grow and become better. I don't think that receiving information and, you know, using information has to necessarily be the same thing as copying. In Deadman, I'd have to say I see more copying than I'm used to playing Dungeon Boss, and that's where everybody copied. Everybody's like everybody's just doing the same thing on Deadman. There's almost like a meta to it, when I definitely didn't feel like I was part of that. I feel like I was just doing whatever I could. I had 2 goals in mind, and the only 2 goals that I really had in mind was goal number 1, I wanted to get overhead prayers, and then goal number 2 was I wanted to slay. I got to accomplish both of my goals. It just took me way longer than I had ever imagined. Also, I realized that the Slayer tasks have global loot tables or something, meaning you get loot from them that you don't normally get playing non-Deadman and killing the same task. Switch. I just wish that the loot that you got actually sold for the prices that it says, because most of the time those global loot drops are like 200k drops, but they're items that when I put them in the GE, they don't even sell for 1,000 a piece, therefore making them worth almost nothing. This is my other route, because I got the Greater Demon task again that I I did not want to come off that boat and walk through Malti again, so I tried to look up a map that was the areas of where, you know, multi-combat is and isn't, and where safe is and safe isn't. And the best idea I could come with was to run straight down, and the only problem with that was right there where we went through that castle. That castle's still multi, but that's the only spot. And then we run over, and like I said before, if somebody was to try and attack us, we're just going to try and hurry up and run to our Greater Demons. The plan for not getting killed would be to run around the Greater Demons until one of them attacked the attempting PKer, and then we would try to get away from the Greaters and telly out. That's the only plan that I have, so that's most likely where I'm going to die, is on a Slayer task, because that's when I'm away from. So I do love the Slayer task of the Greater Demons. I have gotten it a few times. I feel like I've only gotten about 5 total tasks. I think I'm up to 120 points on the Slayer Master. You'll have to stay tuned to the next video to see exactly where I'm at in this week. I'm trying not to overlap them all, but this is what we got from the second Greater task, I believe, not the first one. And as you can see, you know, it says it sells for 251,000, but then sorry about that, guys, my audio cut out. So yeah, the prices, they'll say what they sell for, but they're actually nowhere close, meaning like Wrath Runes didn't even sell for 100 coins a piece at a time. But now some things are the exact opposite, like that skirt right there. We found that on Tauros, and we were able to sell it for 100k, which was a huge supply upgrade for me. As you can see throughout the video, my inventories are starting to change. I'm no longer running around with some lobsters. I'm starting to get brews, prayer, sharks, the things that I need. I still hadn't acquired a looting bag yet. You'll have to wait till the next video when I get that, but I did get a Dragon Plate skirt drop, guys. That's my best drop so far on the Deadman season, is that drop, and I I took 5 hours to kill my Steel Dragon task. Everybody gave me shit for going and doing it. They said that I should skip that task, but it was just too early in the game, and I didn't want to skip that task. I didn't want to skip anything. I just wanted to accumulate points. My smithing, I went ahead and got it all the way to like 51 or 52 just using Superheat. Superheat is extremely fast XP. I wasn't expecting iron to be as cheap as iron was. Iron ore was 15 coins, like meaning when I was gonna buy like 50k worth, and so 50k got me like way more than I expected. I ended up giving away a bunch of that iron to like people in a clan chat that I was talking to, mainly just because I risked wanting to, I didn't want to die with it on, and it wasn't selling in the GE, and I didn't have time to sit here. I could have probably smithed them all into bars, but I was losing money, so I only wanted to pretty much just get some to raise my overall total level. I wasn't in it for any other reason. Even as filming this video, I still have 4 skills with level 1, and we're in the top 100, so you can look to see me definitely making moves to even climb higher in the upcoming weeks. And we're getting way better at not dying, guys. I've been attacked so many times in the past like day and a half, and I haven't died in the past day and a half. So it's mainly just because every day we're learning a new trick or we're learning a new thing to get better. Like I'll tune in and I'll watch somebody's YouTube video like Bitter, and you'll see him, you know, crying and whining about, you know, somebody getting away because of a certain mechanic or a certain, you know, basically exploit, which, I mean, all props to Ditter. He's one of the best skilled players I've seen when it comes to killing players. But when he's whining or he's complaining, you know, that somebody's getting away, those are the details that I pay attention to, because whatever they did to make him upset or whatever they're doing to get away is what I need to learn. Those are the things, like when you're listening to a YouTuber like say you're camping the wrong prayer or you're doing this, you also got to realize they're saying that because they wish you would change your prayer so they could VLS spec you. I'm not trying to play into that game. So when I'm watching PKer videos and I'm not a PKer, I am just looking to find information in those videos that's going to help me stay alive and help me get away from PKers. So like the fact that I now know that I can carry binds with me and I can bind somebody and then teleport away, I can thank somebody like Bitter for that information, because they gave it to me through complaining about somebody doing it to them. So you guys got to really go out and you got to look for information to become a better player at what you're doing. We can all make excuses for sucking, or we can just keep playing. I suck ass at this game and I'm still playing it. So I hope that you guys watching can learn from me and learn that, you know, you don't have to be a great PKer to have an amazing time in Deadman. And now, guys, you can actually, you know, race the skills and, you know, sell things for profit and then swap it over to your other account. I didn't do any of that. That Zuriel guy, he accomplished his goal right there. He kept me from going to the bank. All I wanted to do was go to that bank. So he didn't kill me, but he accomplished his goal. It's very annoying, but I love the idea that I can still play this game and not have to so much focus on my ability to kill another player. Like the fact that I suck ass at killing another player doesn't mean I suck ass at figuring out ways to level my smithing, like superheating in the basement. It doesn't mean that I suck ass in like figuring out ways to make money from nothing, like chopping some trees. I did happen to get a tier 5 from a Hellhound task, so that let me know that I can get emblems and I don't have to go in the wild to get them, which was amazing because everybody told me otherwise. But what I didn't know was how in the hell I was going to get the emblem, trade it in, and actually be able to buy things. So in this part, I actually trade the emblem in. I think we get 1.5 million. I was going to turn around and run away as soon as I seen PKers because I got scared, and plus because I didn't even know exactly who the emblem trader was or where they were. Like, I do, but I don't. And then so I was trying to click the wrong people, but then I find the emblem trader, and I was told from someone in the clan chat that all I had to do was click use on the statuette and then click use on him, or click him, and it would automatically turn it in. So upon doing that, I did want to buy some things. I wanted to buy a looting bag. I wanted to buy a magic envy scroll. I wanted to get some mystic mage boots, but I wasn't able to do anything because this guy jumped on me. So instead, I just basically, you know, try not to panic. I'm not even trying to fight back because he's already praying range, and I have my attack other players on hidden, which is something that I'm having a huge problem boggling back and forth through, is hiding whether or not I want to be able to click attack on players because I don't want to accidentally skull, versus I want to be able to attack back when I'm being jumped. But he eventually sees that I'm not going to switch my prayer, and he's not going to get no VLS specs out of his pocket on me, so he lets me go and I get back. But I wait like 2 days, I want to say, before actually going back into Emblem Trader, so you won't see that into the next video.
But if you're enjoying what I'm doing on Deadman, which is now I'm becoming a range tank, I'm only leveling my defense and my range. That was not my intention in the beginning. I just wanted to have a high combat level. And I am still slaying. So if you're enjoying what you're seeing from a noob who doesn't know how to PK, and you're interested in seeing how much better I get, then hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to try to put up a video every single week of all of what we accomplished in a week on Deadman. And since I still have level 1 and 4 skills, hopefully I will be going up. That there, Big Bad Scream, that guy was number 1 at the time. I got to meet him and ask him if he slept, and he said no. So he's definitely up there because he's putting in the game time. And I got a Blood Veld task. Blood Velds are my favorite task because they're right next to a safe spot. So I love to be able to max my combat out every day on a task like Blood Velds. It's great. You can just run right into the cave exit and you're back to safe grounds. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and please comment if you know. And this, guys, is what we accomplished in the first week.